Hello, this is Angel Rojas with DataCorps Technology Solutions. Today is Thursday, September 9th, 2021, and this is your Threat Landscape Update. I want to thank you for joining me again on this Threat Landscape Update via video. I am also going to be, you should probably have seen that in the email, everything that we're going to be discussing today is going to be in the message. So if you want to consume it via actual email, you're more than welcome to. So let's get right to it. This week, you may have seen an email that we sent out about a Microsoft zero-day vulnerability in Microsoft Office products. And our team got on that very quickly to help protect you and keep you and your systems safe. So we sent out an update with a workaround. What you may have noticed is that your system asked for a reboot. And so we went ahead and rebooted your system and applied a workaround that Microsoft recommended while we wait for a patch. Our team is always hunting for these threats and always looking out for any potential issues that can be mitigated so that we can keep you and your system safe and keep you up and running. The second thing we want to discuss today are some cybersecurity statistics that can help you prevent a data breach. So I listed them all out in the email. 83% of breaches involve a human element. What's crazy about that is that a lot of times we think that cyber breaches and cybersecurity is about the technology. What this report shows, and this is the Verizon Data Breach Investigation Report, what this shows is that it's actually the human factor that affects breaches way more than the technology factor. So the technology factor is really just a vehicle that is being used to exploit a human. As we'll see as I go over some of these statistics, a lot of it really does involve the person. So 23% of monitored organizations by the Verizon data breach team reported that they had brute force or credential stuffing attacks. So in keeping with the human factor theme, what this essentially means is that attackers are trying to get at passwords, okay? We'll talk a little bit more about passwords in the rest of our update, but credentials happen to be the most sought after data type. Personal data is the second one, but credentials are really high on the list. And part of why they're high is because once you get a credential, once you get a password, you can go in and figure out what else that person has access to. For example, if I were to be compromised and one of my passwords were to be compromised, well, some of my accounts have keys to other kingdoms. We're an IT company, so we maintain passwords on your businesses and other businesses. So somebody wants to compromise me, I would have a treasure trove of information if one of my credentials were to be compromised. So that's why credentials are highly, highly sought after. And that's why these attacks are so targeted to getting these credentials. So moving on and looking at some more of the statistics, I can see that 85% of the breaches involving social engineering are done via email. And what's significant about this is, again, we're talking about the human factor. You get that email, you see that invoice that you think you don't have to pay, so you open it, just to see what's in that invoice, and that's when the attack comes. So again, being aware, taking the time to really look at email critically and avoiding some of those common mistakes. And we'll talk about actually a few of those. And if you'll notice, I'm going to be hammering a lot of the same points over and over again. The reason I'm hammering them is, again, these statistics are not just statistics. They're reflective of reality. And the reason these statistics are so high and significant is because I guess we're still not doing a great job at the basics, and we're not doing a great job at protecting the human factor. So I am going to hammer it over and over and over again. I don't want to see you and your organization compromised. I want the best for you. I want to be able to serve you. I want to help you grow, and I want to use technology to help you grow. But these breaches and these security incidents do sap precious resources. For example, we have to have somebody here full time looking and trying to find these breaches and vulnerabilities, and then actually respond to them quickly and respond to any threats quickly to keep you safe. Those are resources that are robbed from, being able to move you forward, being able to solve some of your other business problems. And so, again, if I can help keep an incident like that from happening, I can keep you ahead of the game. So let's keep looking at some of the statistics. Over 80% of breaches were discovered by external parties. This is actually a little bit embarrassing because it means that people aren't finding out that they're breached. Businesses aren't finding out that they're being breached until somebody else tells them that they're breached. So tells me that we have to do a better job of and employ better technology at monitoring for breaches and the indicators of a compromise. So what I thought I would do is there's 10 statistics, what I want to do is break them down over the next 10 weeks. So we'll take one of the statistics each week and go a little bit deeper into them to understand them and maybe how they apply to your business. And as always, if you have any questions about them, feel free to reach out to me. I'm more than happy to talk to any of you about them. So the next point that we want to cover today is keeping company passwords safe and off the dark web. And we talked a lot about the human factor in looking at the statistics. Credentials and passwords are definitely of major interest to bad actors. And so what's happening with passwords is I still see it. We have bad password hygiene. So what does bad password hygiene look like? Using the same password across multiple sites, not using multi-factor authentication, sharing the password with friends and family, using weak passwords, using common passwords between your work and home accounts, using similar passwords between social media, work accounts, streaming accounts, shopping accounts, and not using a password manager. So again, these things aren't new. We've discussed them before, but I still see them happening. It's a little bit of extra work to use a password manager, right? It's a lot of extra work to have to use different passwords on different sites. But the level of security and the level of assurance that provides is well worth it. So I want to encourage you to employ those methods. Moving on, phishing continues to be on the increase. So recent study showed that phishing has doubled in the US and UK. And again, we're talking about the human factor. You're going to notice a pattern here that it's always, always, always about the human factor. The technology factor goes into the breach detection and breach response, but always it's going to be the human factor that gets exploited because it's the easiest thing to exploit. To actually hack a computer system is way more difficult than it is to hack a human. So 80% of reported security incidents are phishing related. Phishing emails are, they're called phishing because somebody puts bait out for you and waits for you to get on the hook. So if you were ever curious about why they were called phishing, that's why. An attacker goes fishing for fish. So 40% of phishing messages are not caught by conventional methods and conventional security tools. And what I mean by conventional are non-artificial intelligence and non-advanced tools. And the reason why the advanced tools are not employed more often is because of cost. It may seem like a trivial cost when you have one mailbox to protect for a few bucks a month, but when you stack up 50 or 60 mailboxes, that can turn into a significant cost. So artificial intelligence is also still a bit expensive to employ, and that's why businesses are choosing not to employ it. We have those tools available, but again, they do reflect an increase in your cost, and I'm more than happy to discuss that with you. But as I've discussed that in the past, most businesses are not willing to invest in that. So 20% of employees surveyed for phishing fell for phishing tricks. 45% click emails that they consider to be suspicious just in case. And it's not just in case. They say that curiosity killed the cat. Same thing goes with ransomware and phishing. Curiosity is ultimately what gets us. So if you can be a little bit more suspicious and a little bit less curious about what's inside of that attachment or that email, that will go a great way into protecting you and your business. If you want to really have meaningful protection, I believe that employee training and awareness is key. So what I did in this message is I offered just a quick acronym that's easy to remember, SLAM, and it's a method to detect whether you've got a phishing email or not. So SLAM, the first letter, S, is for sender. Check the sender closely. Look for any misspelled domains, any different email addresses from the name of the sender. And if you don't recognize the sender, don't open the attachment. So L stands for links. So S, sender, L, links. Hover over, but don't click on the links. Avoid clicking links you don't recognize. And if you get a message from Amazon, you can always go to the browser, type in Amazon.com, and go straight to their site. You can always go to your bank's site, type in their website, and go there. It's not as convenient as clicking, but it will keep you safer. So A, we covered S for sender, L for links. A is for attachments. Don't open them. Even if you're expecting the attachment, it may not be the attachment that you're expecting. What I mean by that is I have seen situations where, for example, one of our clients is expecting an email from somebody, but that person's mailbox is actually under surveillance by an attacker. And that attacker sees, through the email conversation that they're expecting an attachment and sends their attachment instead of the intended one. So you want to be extra curious and extra careful with attachments. And as always, if you have any doubt about that attachment, please get with our folks. We are more than happy to take a look at the attachment and help you determine if it's safe or not. Finally, M. So we covered S for sender, L for links, A for attachments, and M. M is for message. Look at the subject line, look at the body of the message, and what you're looking for is any suspicious language, misspellings, and poor grammar. Here in the U.S., we don't really use the word kindly too much. So if you see kindly in a signature, that's probably, that should be an alarm. So you want to see and you want to look for signs that message may have been, possibly written by a foreign actor. And again, just look at the overall message for anything that looks off. And if it does look off, please call us. We are, again, more than happy to help you determine if that email is legitimate or not, because it's a lot less work than to clean up a ransomware or a malware situation. So again, SLAM, SLAM, sender, links, attachment, and message. And that's in our email. You can read that, and please feel free to share that with others. So the last point I wanted to cover in this threat landscape update, and I know it's a lot of information, I'm moving fast, but I want to, we're doing these weekly, so I want to cover a lot of stuff and let you digest it as you can. Cyber insurance rates. We get a lot of requests from a lot of you to help you fill out your underwriting forms for cyber insurance. And what we've noticed is that the underwriting is getting tighter. It's also getting more expensive. The policies are getting more expensive. So I reached out to our insurance agent, David Carruthers of Florida Risk Partners, and I asked him to give me his thoughts on that. So he writes, the cyber insurance marketplace is hardening every day. I have been speaking about this and predicting it for the past 3 to 4 years, and now it's here. And I've been talking to David for some time about this, and he is spot on with this. He has been ringing the bell for the past few years about this, so he's definitely right on that. So he continues, underwriting is much more thorough. Pricing has seen an increase, and deductibles, exclusions, and sublimits are on policies like never before. What this means is there's going to be exclusions. If you write in that policy that you are using, for example, enhanced detection and response, but you actually aren't, or that you're doing log reviews, but that log reviews aren't happening, or that you have policies and procedures, but you don't. If you have an incident happen that you have to file a claim for, your claim could be denied because essentially you committed fraud on that application and said something that you weren't doing. So when you come to me and ask me to fill these out, a lot of times, we got to have a heart-to-heart and say, look, we're not doing these things. These things aren't happening, and we need to start doing them. So let's talk about that when you get those cyber insurance applications. I'm more than happy to discuss them with you, but there are going to be things you need to understand that are required, and you want to make sure that you're on top of them. So David continues, understanding what you are buying is a massive concern. The landscape changes every day, and most agents who don't specialize in this area don't know what they are selling. It is a scary time as a business owner because it is not a matter of if, but when. And again, right on the money, David. Thank you very much for providing that information for us. And I do talk to insurance agents, and a lot don't really understand cyber risk. They think it's like any other risk, and there are some fundamental differences. For example, with say you have a roof leak. You can put a tarp on it, and you can wait for an adjuster to come out and approximate the damage and assess it, and then go through that process. When we have a cyber situation, it's a lot like a fire. You don't call your insurance agent first when you have a fire. You call the fire department. The problem is that with cyber, the fire department doesn't just come out and is free. The fire department involves forensics. It involves highly specialized security people, and involves attorneys that manage response and incident response and communications. And a lot of that has to happen immediately. It involves us. We have to contain the situation, prevent it from spreading, and stop the bleeding. So a cyber claim has to behave much differently than a normal claim. Speed is of the essence and critical. For example, DataCorps cyber policy responds immediately. We have a hotline that we call, and resources are available right away, and money starts flowing to the right places at the right time. With a normal policy, the insurance, the claim agent, or the appraiser has to come out. The adjuster will come out, make the claim papers, do all of that, appraise the claim, and all that process takes time. We don't have that kind of time when it comes to cyber. So if you have any questions on cyber insurance, feel free to reach out. I can connect you with David, or can talk with your agent and discuss your situation, and we can understand it together. So thank you very much for listening. One more thing that I want to hit on before I leave you today. On the 12th, DataCorps is going to be 19, or starting our 19th year of business. So we'll be closing out our 18th year. We'll be 18 years old. And I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. It is such a blessing. It is so exciting to come to work every day and serve you. And I just cannot, I'm blown away every day by the size and scope of how DataCorps has grown, the clients that we serve, you. I'm humbled. We've got 7 folks other than myself working to serve you. We're looking to add more. And, this world changes every day. Our industry changes every day. And it's just exciting, and it is a blessing to come to work every day and serve you. So thank you so much for making this a possibility. I cannot believe I've been doing this for 18 years. Started in 2003 in my home office, all by myself, and now I've got a great team around me. It's just amazing. So thank you very much. I'm humbled, and looking forward to serving you for many years to come. Have a blessed day.